A painter, a poet and a philosopher huddled in the garret. Sounds like the start of a joke, but they're freezing and debating whether to set fire to a chair just for a bit of heat, but end up using the poet Rodolfo's manuscript instead. What a guy. Their musician pal Shona arrives with a bit of cash and supplies. Hurrah! They decide to eat dinner out tonight because they're young men and money is to be spent. But Rodolfo stays behind to finish an article. Hearing a knock at the door, he finds Mimì, a pretty neighbour who embroiders flowers. In the darkness, she drops her door key, and as she and Rodolfo search for it together, their hands touch, and they fall in love in the chilly darkness. They head out together, warmed by their newfound adoration, to join the others at the Café Momus. It's Christmas Eve, and everything seems possible, though Marcello, the painter, is feeling cynical about romance, mainly because his ex-girlfriend Musetta is swanning about with her new lover, Alcindoro. After a bit of performative party-girling in which she whips up the cafe crowd while singing on tables, Musetta eventually leaves with Marcello and his friends. As he returns to the table, poor old Alcindoro is presented with their bill. Though Puccini was as susceptible as the next man to the romance of the precarious bohemian lifestyle and to the contemporary obsession with the femme fragile, the composer always seemed to have an acute understanding of the plight of women and their inequality of opportunity. Mimì and Musetta must either scrounge a paltry living from sewing flowers or find a wealthy protector. There are precious few other options available for girls like them. A couple of months after their night out, Musetta and Marcello are back together and living at an inn. Mimì arrives, looking worryingly frail and seeking Rodolfo, who's stormed off on her, accusing her of flirting. She hides as he appears and overhears him ranting to Marcello about her behaviour, before finally admitting that his tantrums are all born out of guilt. Mimì is desperately unwell, and Rodolfo's poverty is simply making her worse. Mimì coughs, accidentally revealing her hiding place, and Rodolfo leaps to her aid, while the jealous Marcello scurries off at the sound of Musetta's laughter inside. Rodolfo and Mimì decide to stay together until the spring. Come next autumn, everyone's split up, and the boys, and they really are still just boys, drawing rude pictures on the walls of their garret to cheer themselves up, are bantering with each other, pretending, not very convincingly, that they don't miss the girls, who they see out and about, well-dressed, on the arms of rich men. But suddenly, Musetta arrives. She's brought Mimì, who is dangerously ill and is desperate to see Rodolfo. At once, everyone jumps to sell or pawn something, anything, to raise the money for a doctor. Musetta her earrings, the philosopher Colline his trusty overcoat. Mimì and Rodolfo are left alone together, and they confess how much they love each other. The others return, but while they're preparing her medicine, Mimì quietly dies, leaving Rodolfo utterly bereft.